I'd like to welcome to the Love and Reality Podcast, Angie Rey from The Voice. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm excited to chat with you. Love the performance, but before we get into all of that, let's start with a little bit of an easy one. What made you want to get into singing?
I think originally it wasn't even me that suggested it wasn't like my idea. I had a preschool teacher that had gone to my mom and was like, "Hey, she's like yelling over everybody else." And so it was actually her idea to put me to suggest that maybe I should become a singer. So I think it didn't sound very good from what I remember, but I think that was where like it originally all started from.
Perfect. So obviously this isn't the first time that you've kind of participated in a competition series, right? You were on the Telemundo's Lava's Kids. Did your time on that show kind of help you decide or prepare for you to try out on The Voice?
It's interesting because La Voz Kids is basically The Voice, but for kids. So it's just on a different network. It's a Spanish show. You sing in English and in Spanish as well. But I learned so much from that show. I think what that show really taught me, it was so fun and just like relationships and people there. It didn't feel like a competition. So I thought going into this, I say the big kids version, the adult version of The Voice, I thought it would be I say like easy or like I would understand kind of how it goes, but this one had a little bit more of that competition feel to it. So as much as I would like to say that that little kids version kind of trained me and helped me, it I was very nervous to go into the big kid version.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously you moved to Nashville, well, and a couple years ago. Welcome to the city. I'm in Nashville as well. But what kind of made you want to make that move? Obviously, was it the music aspect of it and kind of chasing that a little bit?
Yeah, I moved after a bad breakup, so I'd love to say that it was because of music, and it was. I was really excited to pull the trigger, but I was much more eager to get out of town. So, but yes, it was music. I think it's really important to Nashville is such a who you know industry. And this place is like, oh, everybody knows each other. It's a really big, small town. So for me, it was like I wanted to be called if someone was like, "Hey, our co-write canceled. Can you be here in 10 minutes?" And living in Florida, I couldn't do that. So being here is like, "Yep, I will be there. I'm on my way." So I can do that now, and I'm really happy about it.
One of the things that we heard about the performance, and we'll get into that in a minute, is obviously the songwriting aspect of it. How did that kind of come to you, and how did that process begin to start writing your own music?
I have always loved writing. I had a teacher in elementary school. Her name is Miss Lamb, and we still keep in touch sometimes. But I was a very vivid writer, just all the time, everything. And since I was little, I've always been a diary girl. So I've had diaries and notebooks and all the stuff about who I love and who I don't like and all of that stuff. So I think I was always leaning towards writing. It was the process of learning how to write songs that is a little bit different. I think I was right around middle school or high school, and I auditioned for this program called the Grammy Museum's Music Revolution Project. And it's run by Bob Santelli, who is one of the directors at the Grammy Museum in California. And Bob was selected, I think it was like 20, 25 of us. And I really learned how to songwrite and hone in on my writing in that camp. So I'm really thankful for that camp and everything because songwriting is just, I mean, it's speaking to music, and the best kinds of songwriting are the ones that are really authentic, like what you're going through in life. It talks about the simplest things, and I think sometimes those are the most relatable.
Right, let's dive a little bit into the voice here, right? So, what made you want to try out and kind of start this process there?
Um, the Voice is an amazing platform, and I think when it comes to music and getting your music out there, numbers are really, really crucial. So I thought at the time, if I had the opportunity to do The Voice, that I could increase my numbers and my social media and just gain a little bit more of a following so that I can get to the point of releasing my own music. So that was really kind of what pushed me to do it.
All right, let's talk about the song you picked because I mean, it's a ballsy decision, right? Not only are you going out here, you're singing Penthouse by Kelsea Ballerina, but you're gonna do it in front of her. Why did you choose that song and how maybe were your nerves? How nervous were you about performing that, not just in front of this voice crowd and then the millions at home watching, but in front of her?
Um, I I perform full time. So I was trying to go into the mindset of I can do this. Like this is I sing all the time. It can't be that difficult. There was nothing in this world that could have prepared me for the feeling I felt. Um, I am a Kelsea Ballerini fan. I love her. I think she's amazing. I stand for everything she stands for. It's just um, really, really interesting when it comes to picking a song and going through the process of that. I wanted something that really geared towards my target audience, right? It's like the girls um in their, 15 to 35 kind of range. And so I went through a lot of different songs and what I'd really like to do. And I I think taking the risk was worth it for me at the time. I was like, what better time? But it's been really, really funny to read all the comments about, how ballsy it is to sing a song for a coach. And some people are like, it really makes me cringe when they do that. And I'm like, I had fun, it was everything I wanted to do and more. And I love the song. It was one at the time of auditions. I was looping and looping and looping and looping. So I knew I couldn't mess it up because the other thing was like, what's worse, than sounding bad is forgetting the words. So I just needed something that I was like, okay, even if I'm freaking out, I know I won't forget the words. So
Was her reaction, was quite priceless just as you're performing. Did the quick press of the button by her, did that kind of relieve any like nervousness or pressure from
yeah,
you, or did it make it worse?
it made it worse. Um, yeah, it made it way worse. When she turned around, so in the room, that button push is not as loud in that room because I think it interferes with our microphones. So you don't really notice until I was singing to like the left side of the crowd and she had already turned and I hadn't noticed, but then they were screaming at me and I was like, something's wrong. Like, I don't know what's going on. So then I looked and she was standing up and you could hear it in my performance. It was like, and that was, I just, like the little girl in me was so excited.
Yeah, so to make things even crazier,
Mhm.
right? Michael had the suggestion of Kelsey hitting the stage with you to sing the song. What an incredible moment, right?
Yeah, it was. I had thought up everything the night before. I remember calling my parents and on FaceTime and I was like, okay, let's go through the possible case scenarios, right? And it's like, no one turns, everyone but her turns, everybody turns, all of the different scenarios. And the only thing that never crossed my mind was, what if she comes up and sings with you? And I can't believe that that happened. I was just so in awe of like the experience. You can kind of see me standing on the stage and I kind of like just look at her and what's there was a time and it wasn't in the footage. It was like, okay, what are we, what are, we just looked at each other and I was like, you go. Like you start the song, like this is your song and I'm not, gonna take away. I was like, you sing it to me. Let's do it this way. And I went in on some harmony with her and it was just it was so cool. It was she couldn't have like if she hadn't turned and I had done that, sure I would have been sad, but if we had sang together, it would have been such a dream either way.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I loved about the entire thing was kind of the surreal look that you had in your face, like, holy cow, she's like sitting next to me singing this song that I just performed. We're singing it together on stage. It was such a beautiful moment, right?
Yeah, it was. It was very, very surreal. And one of the things that I really harp on is authenticity and how I want people to look and like it was so not planned. And you could see it all over my face. Like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. And so that's just really important to me. And it's important to feel real feelings. Like we are all human. And so it's like anyone would have freaked out when she turned her chair. Anyone would have panicked when they were like, let's sing it together. Like, what do you do? Stare at each other. It's like, I don't know. So,
Yeah, I mean, and to me, like you could tell the authenticity because you could even see there was like a hesitation, a little bit of what we see of you singing with her. Is like you're singing, and they're like, when do I chime in? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know when it's like my, you know what I mean? So yeah, I
yeah,
love the
I,
authenticity of it. All right, so when you hit the stage, did you kind of already have your mindset, no matter who turned around, as long as Kelsey turned around, you were gonna go with her?
oh yeah, there was no one else I wanted. It's very, I mean, it's, yeah, no, that's who I wanted. Um, that's who I wanted. I was a big fan and I I just wanted her to coach me. I wanted to have the opportunity to learn from her, especially because we have the same kind of target audience. So I thought, what better way? I do love all the other coaches. Like I listen to John and I listen to Michael Bublé and I listen to Adam too. So and they're all, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of them. And I would have been grateful for any of them. But yeah, I'm a Kelsey stan. I love that girl.
For sure. Yeah, final question. What do you hope to maybe learn or grab from Kelsey in this ride?
Um, there's a lot that I'd love to learn from Kelsey. I think in this whole experience, it's I noticed that she's really great at balance. It's how to be really personable when you're singing songs about your life that can be really vulnerable. And so I I want to keep in mind and learn from her how she does that. I think if you watch any of her concert videos or anything like that, she is so personable. And I don't want to lose that ability to be personable, even when you're on this big stage. It's like, everyone feels like they're her best friend. How does she do that? That's what I want to carry from now for the rest of my career, and that's what I'm most excited to learn about her. And she's a great singer. I'm excited to ask her singing questions, but beyond that.